Today, I am joined with Joji Davenport. If you guys don't know him already, he's a chemistry teacher who has what's most impressive about you. I don't know what's most impressive, but you did 100,000 flipping books on the side last year.
Right.
And you've also saved $1 million net worth between you and your wife as
Right.
a chemistry teacher. So all those things are really impressive. And
Appreciate
in
it.
this video, you're going to tell people how you did it.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Joji. I'm a high school teacher, like Avery said. Last year, I sold $297,000 in revenue. And while that might, I don't know, may or may not seem impressive to you, the profit on it was 100,000. And that margin for online arbitrage is actually pretty insane. I do all online book arbitrage, which means I buy books on Amazon and then resell them on Amazon for a profit. And really, the idea of this video is to kind of show you a conceptual model for how you could eventually get there, right? In the beginning, there's probably no way that in the first year, you're probably gonna be able to sell 300,000 in revenue because there's going to be a learning process. But you could definitely in your first year sell 50,000, 75,000, 100,000 just by getting, just by learning from the process. So just to give you a little bit of an idea, my average buy cost on books I bought on Amazon last year is about 17. The average sales price is right around like 67. Okay, so on average, I'm making about $33 profit per book. And so I know, you're trying to figure out like, well, how would you make $100,000? Well, it's just a math equation, right? So Avery, I'm gonna do a little bit of math, and let's see if we can all stay with each other. So $33 profit per book, right? If I'm gonna get to $100,000 in profit, I have to divide 100,000 by 33 because that's the amount of profit per book. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So essentially, right there, that's 3,000 books that you'd have to buy. So everyone has 365 days in a year. If you have to buy 3,000 books, then on average, you need to be buying basically 8 to 9 books per day at that sort of profit margin in order to make $100,000 in profit. So, what I always recommend people do, Avery, when they come to my channel is like buy 10 books a day. And again, this isn't like buy, at a thrift store where a lot of the books have an average price of like 12 or 15. I'm talking like books that have value, like buy on average 10 books that have value of like north of $50 or $60. And if you can consistently buy 10 books every day, no matter what, I guarantee you, like you're gonna be able to get to like $100,000 in revenue pretty easily. And again, all just comes down to a math equation. And so you have to ask yourself, sitting out there, can you buy 10 books a day, doing it from home? Well, I don't know. It comes down to how fast you can source, and it really comes down to being able to look at a keeper graph, Avery, and identify books that are above market value, at market value, or below market value. You have to be able to very quickly identify whether or not any book you're looking at is a good deal or not. So if you can get really good at finding books that are undervalued, I mean, it really just comes down to, can you buy 10 of those books per day? And, in the beginning, I'm going to tell you it's going to be a lot harder because you probably haven't had much experience reading keeper graphs, but you can get to the point where you can buy 7 books in an hour, 10 books an hour, 15 books an hour. It comes down to just a bunch of pattern recognition and a bunch of experience.
Do
And
you
so
find that you actually buy 10 books a day, or do you like sit down once a week and buy like 50 or 60?
I normally buy books every day, and it varies. I would say, so if I look at my last year, 2023, my average was 13 books per day. That's the average. So I didn't like literally buy 13 books every day, like you mentioned. It was like some days it was 25 books, some days it was 7 books. But I would say there's probably not more than a 2-day period where I didn't buy a book. So I guess what that means is like, if you ask me, hey, did I buy books yesterday? Like, yeah, I did.
It's
How
like
many did
your
I buy?
dollar cost averaging in on books or something.
It is. Yeah, absolutely is. It's like there are amazing deals on Amazon every single day because there's 95 million books on Amazon, Avery. How could there not be 5,000 books that are undervalued at any one time when there's 95 million of them listed on Amazon?
Yeah.
So anyway, in any case, yeah, it's just being consistent and showing up to do the work every day. And it's also committing to this as a business model, right? If you have your hands in traditional OA and then you're trying to do wholesale and then you're trying to do thrifting and then you're trying to do free book pickups and then you try, like, obviously that's, focus. There's a lot to say for being able to focus on one thing and go at it really hard. And that's what I'm committed to. It's like, all right, I need to be buying books every single day. And like I mentioned, I don't think there probably wasn't a 2-day period where like all of last year where I didn't buy at least one book. In other words, pretty much every day I'm buying books, and the average came out to about 13 books a day.
Mm-hmm. And can you talk about like how you're getting these books and like the nature of the price drops? Because in the past, Caleb Roth, my mentor, he always talked about seasonal books. So buying books during summertime and then selling them during fall when students go back to class. There was a peak in textbook prices. I know Victor Galejos, your partner,
Mm-hmm.
does a lot of seasonal flips too. But you're more so looking for those books that just have those random price drops, right?
Right. Yeah, that's kind of my sort of model. I like finding books that are super undervalued and they just have happened. But you're like you mentioned, Caleb Roth was kind of the founding father of the whole like buy books, at least the first one to make content about it, right? And go
Yeah.
widespread with it. But yeah,
I would say I think I don't even know who was the very first, but Peter Valley was there, and then Caleb came around and like made a better version of what he had. And I'd say now you have you're making a better version of what Caleb had. I think that's like the natural cycle of all this. Peter's probably watching this right now. Peter, we love you.
Someone comes along and makes it better, improves it, right? That's the goal. Yeah, I mean, I like to look at a lot of books that have dropped in price. The number one way that you could do that is using Keepa Deals. So Keepa Deals is basically one of the features of having a Keepa subscription that allows you to set super basic parameters for any product in any category that has seen a certain percentage price drop in the last, it could be literally in the last like 10 seconds or in the last minute. And so the idea is you could go to Keepa Deals, and I've got plenty of YouTube videos on my YouTube channel. You could just literally type in Joji Davenport Keepa Deals. But you could set some metrics that say, hey, show me anything in the book category that's seen a 50% drop in price, where that drop in price is also like $20 or more. And you might get like 400 or 500 results, and 5 of them just happen in the last 3 minutes. And so you could literally go through them, look at their Keepa chart, and it's no different than scanning, right? It's like there's going to be a certain percentage of the books that are good, and it's a much smaller percentage than the ones that are duds. But just like with scanning, like this is what you tell all of your audience members, Avery, is if you scan 1,000 books, that's way better than scanning 100 books. And if you scan 10,000 books, that's way better than scanning 1,000 books, right? Mm-hmm. So it all comes down to volume. The more books you look at, the more likely it is that you're going to be lucky. And you don't need to look at 1,000 books and Keepa Deals to find some good books. So that'd be the number one way, is to find Keepa Deals, one-time large drops in price. If you want to become a little bit more experienced and a little bit more difficult, a little bit more expert level, is to use Keepa Product Finder. You can literally type in Joji Davenport Keepa Product Finder. And there's also ways that you can find those drops in price, maybe not just right now over a 1 day period, but maybe over a longer stretch of period of time, because our good friends like Vishal and David, who are big bulk sellers, they sell thousands of books, and they have these repricers that compete on price, and they can undervalue books insanely in like a 1 week period. So I buy books from Vishal and David all the time.
Yeah.
And other booksellers, I buy a lot of books from Goodwill, just not at the Goodwill store, just on Goodwill's online presence on Amazon.
Taking advantage of those mega sellers dumping their inventory.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're dumping some great stuff. They're dumping some gold for sure.
Yeah. And they're kind of upset about it. I think David's like, what were you guys talking about? This is kind of a tangent, but at the conference, he was talking about, like, he was like, I want to know what books I need to not dump, essentially, and keep at the higher prices, something along those lines.
Yeah, Victor and I and David and Vishal, we all went to lunch and discussed maybe how we could help them do a much better job of identifying the books that they need to price up, or the books that they at least need to not price down so aggressively. Yeah. And we came up with some ideas, maybe too much sauce to share, but but a lot of very interesting things. Like,
we'll probably share some of that sauce though on the live stream next week. Joji's coming on, and he'll be sharing exactly how he does this, like a more in-depth. This is just a short video. I just want to introduce you guys to Joji and, see the opportunity of online arbitrage. If you guys want to learn more right now, go check out his channel. But next week, we will be doing a live stream. He'll be coming on my channel, showing you guys exactly how he does this, how he finds books and all that. So. Yeah,
it'll be step-by-step. It'll be like an hour-long training, so you guys can ask questions. And I'm a chemistry teacher. I'm a teacher at heart, so I'm here to help you guys out. But yeah, that was it. By the way, Miami Sellers Conference, Avery, great job. That was an awesome time. I'm looking forward to next year already.
Heck yeah. Appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
Go give Joji a sub, guys. Peace.